Menomonee Falls, one of the most complicated city names to pronounce as well as to spell in Wisconsin. It is home to one of the Native American tribes that was here long before the settlers ever moved in. The Wild Rice People is what it stands for. And of course, there's the Menomonee River that runs through the area as well. Today, Menomonee Falls is one of the most popular suburbs of the greater Milwaukee area. If you are moving to the area or you're to live here, right, but you don't want to live in Milwaukee proper, Menomonee Falls consistently ranks as one of the top suburbs of Milwaukee. And so in today's video, I'm going to break it down for you. Why is Menomonee Falls so popular, right? And so that you can make the decision if you might want to move here as well. So real quick, if you haven't been here before, my name is Lor Vang. I am a dual licensed realtor with eXp Realty as well as a loan originator with Nexa Lending. And I actually happen to live in Menomonee Falls. So I know the area quite well. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you what, as a local here, what I like the best about Menomonee Falls and why I really think it's probably one of the best suburbs to live in the Milwaukee area. So let's get right into this video. Okay, so let's talk about what kind of homes can you expect to find in Menomonee Falls. So in Menomonee Falls, the older stock of inventory, right? The entry-level suburban homes, what you're going to find is that those homes will likely start on the low end around the low 300K. Okay, can go up to as high as the mid 400K. Okay, and what we're talking about here is probably going to be about a 1950, 1960, either a ranch or a Cape Cod. So ranch, if you're not familiar, also called a rambler in certain parts of the US. Basically one story with a basement, right? Cape Cods are 2 stories or 1.5 stories, you want to call it that. But basically the second story is kind of built into the roof line. So you may or may not have a actual be able to actually stand in that second story. So those are kind of the homes that you can expect to find in that entry level price point, right? So it's not exactly cheap, right? If you're looking at from 300 to anywhere from 450, and keep in mind, these are homes from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, right? They're going to have the 70s carpets, right? Maybe even the appliances that actually still work from back then, but they're going to need some TLC, right? They're going to need some updates, some cosmetics, some flooring for sure, some paint for sure, right? So that's kind of what you would be expecting if you're into that entry level bracket, right? And I work with a lot of buyers who are like sick of living in Milwaukee. They want to move out to the suburbs, and it's kind of a sticker shock for some people that, hey, wow, this is very expensive, right? And for what I'm getting, the home is super outdated, right? And for the same amount of money that someone is paying to live in Menomonee Falls, you could get a fully remodeled home in the Milwaukee area. But then again, location is everything, right? So that is what you are going to be looking at. Now, if your budget goes a little bit further, right, and you're like, hey, I don't want that 70s, 60s home with the shaggy carpet, right? I can afford a little bit more. Well, the next tier for you, if you're shopping in Menomonee Falls, is going to be a slightly newer home, probably like a colonial. So colonials are also very popular in Menomonee Falls, the 2-story, 4-bedroom, 2-bath type of setup, right? And so we're talking homes that were built in the 80s and 90s, possibly even the early 2000s. And so if you are shopping in this price point, then you're probably going to be likely in that mid 400,000 to potentially 600,000. Okay, so that's what you can expect for a home like that. So a little bit nicer, and it's also likely going to have a bigger yard. You're also going to be more of a traditional subdivision setup. A lot of the entry-level homes in Menomonee Falls, I forgot to mention, you're going to be more in the closer to the downtown Menomonee Falls area. So it's going to be more urban type layouts, smaller home lots, right? So you're talking like a quarter of an acre lot or maybe 0.2, right? Something like that, 0.2 acres, which is a good size compared to Milwaukee. Okay, so if that doesn't quite, fit your needs, right? Money isn't quite an issue for you. You got some more to spend here. You want a nicer, new construction home. I got you. Menomonee Falls has it for you. So there are a ton of subdivisions being built right now and that have gone up within the last 5 years. And so what can you expect for a brand new build in Menomonee Falls? Well, a couple years ago when I helped a number of my own clients build brand new right before COVID, around COVID time, it was like $550,000 all in. right? It was. There are some nicer, higher end subdivisions, if you want to call it that, right? More expensive, right? And those are going for now, I mean, at starter prices, probably 650, right? And it goes up from there. So, there are some that are in the million, like, right, the entry level $1 million, right? And so it kind of depends, like, hey, how much do you want to spend? And so we do have a lot, and I'm saying a lot of brand new subdivisions that have popped up in Menomonee Falls just within the last 5 years. I've lived out here in Menomonee Falls for 15 years now. And I can tell you that when we first moved out here, we moved out because we liked the open space, the green spaces, the cornfields. Nowadays, you turn your head and it's like, wow, they're building a subdivision there now too. Whoa, there are a lot of homes coming to Menomonee Falls, hundreds and hundreds. It's going to be interesting how the city plans to keep up with all the new households that are being created here, right? So that's kind of what you can expect with Menomonee Falls. It's very popular. There's lots of development, lots of new homes and subdivisions being built. I just counted the number of subdivision developments going on right now in the city of Menomonee Falls. And I counted 9, if I counted correctly. And I just saw in the headlines that there is a new subdivision that just got approved for development as well, just kind of up the road from me as well. And, something crazy, right, is that Menomonee Falls, land-wise, it's massive. It's sprawling. If you've never been out here, right, where I live, I'm right at the edge of where you're considered still Menomonee Falls. From where I live to the downtown Menomonee Falls community area, the older, more tighter, like, homes are right next to each other. That area is about 15 minutes away from me. And we initially chose to live out where we live because we wanted all the green space. We wanted all the distance from our neighbors, right? We loved seeing cornfields. We loved seeing open grass, right? But it's kind of crazy. Within even the last 5 years here, the amount of subdivisions that we've been seeing going up left and right. I can see a new subdivision from the front of my house, right? And I think there's even going to be one directly in front of my house very soon here because that plot of land just sold. So it is what it is. There's so much development going on here. I think they're talking about widening the roads in front of my house, which that'll be a nice tax bill for me. So, there's a lot of cool things. And the city itself has developed, just finished a huge project in the downtown area, the Village Park, right? So there is a really nice modern playground, kids of all ages. There's a splash pad. There is a huge grassy area, kind of like a hilly grassy area where you can sit and you can have a picnic. And then it looks at the stage, so a decent stage, pretty nice size. And so people have done like community events, movies, concerts, right? Daytime events there. And this year, they just opened up the beer garden portion of it. So a nice little actual building where they can actually serve beer out of. They have food trucks, things like that come by. So this is a really cool area of the downtown Menomonee Falls area. There's actually a park that's closer to my house that I've been waiting for them to complete. It's since it was announced maybe 5-6 years ago. They haven't really done a whole lot to it, but hopefully that does finish soon because now that they're done with the downtown park, maybe they'll move out here and finish that one. So that would be really exciting to see. As far as homes and developments goes, there's actually 0-lot duplexes, if you want to call it that, basically 2 side-by-side single families that are pushed up right against each other, right? They sell them as single families, but they look like duplexes, right? You just buy one side of the house essentially, so it's kind of like multifamily for the suburbs, I guess that's what they call it. But essentially, you're buying one side of the house, even though your neighbor is on the other side. So they have that out here as well at Evergreen Fields subdivision. And, there are some other newer as well senior living facilities as well. Massive developments called the Highlands. Hundreds of units for seniors, a senior living community. That's actually a really nice one that they opened up near the same place, Arrow Park. So it's all connected. And then Tamarind subdivision goes around there as well. And Tamarind is in their final phase of development as well. That is a huge sprawling subdivision. I never thought it would be that big, but it is very big. So there's just so much development going on out here in Menomonee Falls. It's kind of crazy, borderline crazy. So you might be sitting there thinking, wait, if the prices for homes are so expensive in Menomonee Falls, then why is it so popular for people to move there and want to live there? Well, that is because Menomonee Falls is home to some of the lowest property taxes in the greater Milwaukee area. And this is because Menomonee Falls is actually in Waukesha County. So even though it's literally right next door to Milwaukee, it borders Milwaukee, you are not paying Milwaukee County property taxes, which is huge. A huge difference. If you ever compare the property taxes between a Milwaukee County property and right next door in Menomonee Falls, you will see the dollar difference, the savings that you get. Switching gears to talk about jobs and employment opportunities out in Menomonee Falls. Menomonee Falls is home to actually Kohl's corporate. So the department store, they still have their corporate headquarters out here. They did convert or sell off some of their old buildings, locations, and those are actually being worked on right now to be converted to industrial multi-tenants opportunity right now, leased to other people. And then Wacker Newson, they make, I believe it is like landscaping equipment, right? Grass cutting stuff. They are having expansion as well. There was talk of Milwaukee Tool expanding out to Menomonee Falls. Menomonee Falls does have a bigger Freighter Memorial Community Hospital where I believe they kind of specialize in childbirth as well. So they have that out there. So yeah, Menomonee Falls is home to a fair amount of employers and jobs out there. Let's talk about walkability. Is Menomonee Falls the type of community, type of city where you don't need a car? The short answer, no, you're going to need a car. Unless you live in the downtown Menomonee Falls area. That area is probably the only location that is very walkable in all of Menomonee Falls. Everywhere else that you're going to go, you will need a car. There is no public transportation available in Menomonee Falls. So how's the schooling for Menomonee Falls? How good is the school district, right? And so if you have kids, right, this is definitely important to you and also very important for you to understand and know ahead of time before you pick a place to move in Menomonee Falls. Because of the size of the town, it's so big and wide that there's actually 2 school districts. So even if you live in a certain part of Menomonee Falls, your kids may not end up going to the Menomonee Falls School District. And so depending on which school district you like better as well, you can strategically choose to live in an area where you can, your kids will go to the one that you guys like the best, right? So the other school district that actually services Menomonee Falls is the Sussex-Hamilton School District. And so where I live in Menomonee Falls, we are so far west that actually the Sussex-Hamilton High School is just up the road from our house. So my kids go to Sussex-Hamilton, and I couldn't tell you, actually my siblings went to Menomonee School District many years ago, which was fine back then, right? And if you go and you do your research on niche.com, places like that, both school districts, the high schools, both receive A's, right? It's very stellar reviews. Now, Sussex is ranked a lot higher than Menomonee Falls. So on niche.com's website, Sussex is ranked around the 17th best school district in the entire state, whereas Menomonee Falls quite a few spots back at 40th. Again, not terrible, but something you should be aware of. And one of the things that Sussex-Hamilton is really known for is their auditorium for their drama and their theater program that they have at their school. So that's something pretty cool that they offer. So what is the vibe of Menomonee Falls that I should know about before I move there? And so Menomonee Falls is still truly like a small town feel to it, right? But with like modern stores. So for example, the whole, like we talked about the downtown area, all the little shops, the bars, the restaurants down there, everything's walkable, right? Some nice little restaurants down there. And they were, I think recently they talked about having the first Asian grocery store actually in Menomonee Falls open up. So look forward to that happening. We'll check them out and support them. But yeah, it's basically a small town vibe to it. And the whole downtown area, of course, they do all of their events, right? So July 4th parade, they decorate the community down there for Halloween. They do the downtown trick-or-treating with the kids. They do a great job at that. They do movie nights in the summer on that park there, which is really cool. And then they have, lots of community events over there. But it's not quite so big of a town, right? Where, like, for example, there's no mall in Menomonee Falls, right? So you won't find that here. The biggest, closest mall that you can probably go to is going to be in Wauwatosa, which is Mayfair, right? Mayfair Mall. And I did a video on that one. If you haven't seen it, check that one out if you might be considering Wauwatosa. But again, Wauwatosa is more of a big city feel to it. Menomonee Falls is home to a Costco, which is great. I do go there quite often. I love my Costco, and so I go there. Sometimes can be pretty busy though. But yeah, so Menomonee Falls is great. It does have that small town vibe with kind of the bigger retails if you need it. So I do like living out here, and it's very convenient convenient. The major interstate expressways are pretty accessible, so still pretty easy to get everywhere around the greater Milwaukee area. All right, so that's everything you need to know about living in Menomonee Falls. So I enjoyed doing this video and sharing with you the real how's it like to live in Menomonee Falls in my very own hometown. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. So I got a cool little fun challenge for you if you decide to accept it. Try to spell Menomonee Falls in the comments below without looking at the title, without using autocorrect. So let's see how many people can spell it correctly. And if you have any other questions, any other suburbs that you would like an honest take, honest breakdown on in the greater Milwaukee area, drop it in the comments as well so then I can work on those videos for you. Would love to do that. So again, thank you so much. Please do me a huge favor and help the algorithm get this out. Hit that like button, share this out, hit subscribe, right? So we can catch up again next time. So just like Quick Trip, it's not goodbye, it's see you next time.